tuned in to the New Life Show, and I am your host, Danielle. Who am I? I like to call myself a WOG, which means a woman of God. I like to empower, encourage, and motivate people. On the New Life Show, we're going to talk about a variety of topics, and from time to time, I have a guest come on and give me their opinion. So check out the New Life Show, and I am your host, Danielle. Hello, everybody. You are tuned in to another episode of the New Life Show, and I am your host, Danelle. On this episode of New Life, I want to talk about changing from within. Because I know sometimes the hardest thing in life to do is to change. And I know that just from me. Changing. One of the best things that I found out, sometimes you have to reset your mind in order for you to change. Once you reset your mind and put in your mind that you want to change, it comes real easy. We all have things that we need to change about ourselves. And I can admit it is some things that I need to change about myself. So we all have things that we got to change. But I know the hardest thing it is to do is to change. Once you realize that you have the power to change something about yourself, nobody else, you have the power to change. And once you realize that you have the power to change, everything else comes easy. Take your power back and change for yourself. Before I go any further, I want you to go like and subscribe to Studio ATL Radio YouTube page. Go like and subscribe to Studio ATL Radio YouTube page. And while you at it, go over to Facebook and look up Studio ATL and like the page. Studio ATL is a broadcasting and media company located in Atlanta, Georgia. Go like and subscribe to Studio ATL Radio on YouTube. One thing about change. In life, we have to learn to leave our old stories in the past. Leave your old stories in the past if you want to change. A lot of us dwell on the past, and that keeps us from changing. But once you learn to leave your old stories in the past, everything else will come easier. But you got to know, when you change, everybody won't like to change. Because a lot of people, they want you to stay inside of that box that you're in. They don't want you to change. So a lot of people won't like your change. But guess what? You have to do it for you. Change for you and nobody else. Because once you change for you and nobody else, I guarantee you your life will be much more better. You can't live for nobody else but you. It was this woman. She was stuck in the desert for 3 days. And she was getting dehydrated and she felt like she was about to give up. So one day when she was walking, she saw a lake. She saw the lake of change. But she thought it was a mirage. But once she got closer, she realized that it was finally the lake of change that she had been looking for all this time. So she walks over to the lake of change. And when she get there, she don't even take a sip. She just looked down at it. And a man was passing by and he saw her just standing there. But he knew that she needed to take a sip from the lake of change, right? So he goes to the woman and he says, "Why aren't you taking a sip from the lake of change?" She says, "Just too much. It's just too much water, too much change for me to drink. So I can't possibly drink all of this water from the lake of change." So the man, he bends down and he get a scoop of water and he told her to take a sip. He told her to take a sip. He then proceeds to tell her, sometimes you have to take a sip. You don't have to drink it all at once. You don't have to change all at once. You just have to take a sip. You don't have to do it all at once. Just take a sip. If you know you want to change, but you know it's hard for you to change, don't change all at once. You might have to change your attitude. Start with your attitude. You know, your attitude determines your aptitude. Your attitude determines how high that you can go in life. If you know you have a bad attitude that you need to change, start with that. Start by changing your attitude. Once you change your attitude, your whole life will start to shift to something better, especially if you know you got a bad attitude. If you need to change, you might need to change jobs. One of the worst things to do is to be at a job that you're not happy with. So if you feel like you're at a job that you're not happy with, guess what? Change it. You can always change jobs, especially if you feel like you're not growing in that job. One of the worst things to do is to stay in a place for too long and you have not changed and you have not grew. Don't get stuck in a place that you have not changed and that won't let you grow. So if you know that you're stuck at a job that you want to change, guess what? Change it. Another thing that you can change your priorities. If you have your priorities messed up, guess what? You can change them. Change your priorities. Don't be stuck with the same priorities that is not moving you forward. Change them. Change them. Another thing, old habits. Change your old habits. We pick up a lot of habits that's not good for us. But if you change your old habits into something good, you will start seeing something positive in your life. Here go a big one that a lot of us might have to change. Change our friends. Sometimes our friends can hinder us from becoming something that we know we need to be. If you know you want to change it to something greater and your friends are still stuck on the same thing that you want to move away from, sometimes you have to change your friends. You have to change your surroundings to become something to become something greater. Sometimes you outgrow your friends. Sometimes you can walk two different paths with your friends. Change your friends. You outgrow them. Talk to them and tell them, hey, I'm not on this road anymore. I'm changing into something different than what I was. Change your friends. Change. Get you a group of friends that want to do the things that you want to do with your life. It's okay to change your friends. Guess what? Change your motivation. A lot of us talk down on ourselves. If we start changing the way we speak over ourselves, guess what? Things are going to get better in life. So change your friends, change your attitude, change your job, change old habits, and change your priorities. Now, before I forget, I need you all to go like and subscribe to Studio ATL Radio YouTube page. That's Studio ATL Radio YouTube page. And also look them up on Facebook at Studio ATL, located in Atlanta, Georgia. I guarantee you they'll take care of all your production and media needs. Go check them out. They're Studio ATL on Facebook and Studio ATL Radio on YouTube. If you feel like you need a change and you know that it's going to be hard for you, make you a list, write stuff down, and then go check off your list of the things that you need to change. Because changing is a hard thing to do. But if you make you a list and you just knock out your list one by one, then I guarantee you things will get better. Don't try to do it all at once. Don't do it all at once. Take it step by step. Take it sip by sip. Go small. Do it in small chunks. And once you're doing it in small chunks, you're going to get to a point where you have changed into something greater for your good. Another thing that you need to change is toxic environments. Toxic environments. Toxic relationships. Because sometimes you can change into something that's not good, especially toxic relationships and toxic environments. You definitely need to change those into something more positive into your life. You got to realize once you decide to change, people are going to notice that you've changed, and that's going to be a good thing. People will notice that you've changed, and some people may not like your change, but guess what? You have to do it for you and nobody else. Change into something that's greater and that's better for you, that's better for your family. When I decided to change, it was one of the best moves that I could have did for myself and for my family. I decided to move to a different church. And when I decided to change from one place to another, guess what? Things started getting better. Things started growing and opening up for me. So never, ever, ever be afraid to change. Change into something good. Change into something that you want to do. Change for your better and not for the good. Once again, I want to thank you all for tuning into the New Life Show, and I am your host, Danielle. But never, ever, ever be afraid to change your life, especially if you want to change it to something better for you. Don't do it for anybody else. Change for you, and I guarantee you things will get better. But don't like and subscribe to this video. Thank you for tuning in to the New Life Show.
You will forever follow me. Gave me victory.
You are tuned in to the New Life Show, and I am your host, Danielle. Who am I? I like to call myself a WOG, which means a woman of God. I like to empower, encourage, and motivate people. On the New Life Show, we're going to talk about a variety of topics. And from time to time, I have a guest come on and give me their opinion. So check out the New Life Show, and I am your host, Danielle.